I don't know. I don't know. Yes, it is.
I didn't call you to tell you that something right. It's usually over the summer. So I go to that one. Or I can watch
Good morning, welcome, and enjoy the service.
I can get out now, but where do I
Nice to warn me. I'm afraid if I ran into you, it would be disastrous. Okay, I think we're good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I came from the east and the west. It's really impressive. When you're together that long, I think there's a connection that really keeps place. I'm wearing my glasses. You're here off season. Off season, I know.
I'm the only person who comes off season. I come in the spring and the fall. In Oregon,
This now, it's your left. Yeah. Here, yeah. Well, they will. I know, they're looking really hot. I think it's from
yes.
can pull them up, but it's like it's like white stuff under the
Yeah. You can eat them?
Oh, yeah.
Like
I don't.
The first time I came, it must have been like the first week of May. When I was remodeling my house and, oh my goodness, I was just aghast. Bluebells and the trillium, and I thought, this is so beautiful.
Yeah, they
Oh, yeah. Okay. That I know.
Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Dave. How you be today?
I am good.
Not the same one.
You know, at this age, being up and around is good.
Oh, you know, all wildflowers. Oh, I love walking through the bushes.
Yeah.
Put those
I know.
And then they just take these wide.
Read all these bits and
I haven't been there this year, but,
and you know some of them, when I look at them.
and it's starting like you're meandering, even though you're really protected from all the bottom.
No reaction. No reaction.
We're having old people discuss.
I heard that.
Yeah, well, I'm pushing it.
I know.
See, I know my grandhouse is very nice.
No?
When?
When?
She's getting pretty good. I talked to her not too long ago.
No, I'm gonna put the. Is that all right? Just placing you. I think probably Mark, you go there.
I'll start. So what we should do is just come up this way and come off this way. We don't bump into each other.
Yeah, however you start it.
Oh, nice. That's a nice.
That's good. And, okay, so next is Meg. Because she's gonna be reading for Ethel. So Meg goes here. Next to Mark.
Except that you're going to.
Let's sell it here.
Just driving it across the
Estella, here's the list.
How you doing, kids?
Do you have to be be aware that.
Tell me when you're ready. Can you hear me okay? Bend a little bit. Okay. Back down. Good. Okay, how does that sound? Okay. Does that sound okay? Okay.
Well, yeah, it's changed. But I don't. I can't think, but yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I can do that right now. Good morning, this is a test. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy May 1st.
Hey. That's my answer.
Up or down? This way. May 1st.
Okay.
I'm reading for Tom, and then I'm last.
Okay.
For my own. Anyway, she told me to sit.
No, that's her. She's the
It's fine, I'm
I read right after Ralph, right? No, the other way, it goes this way. Okay, so I read right after him and then, okay, and then change No, but it's not here.
Yeah, I mean, I can go anywhere.
We're gonna be together for a while, for forever. So. I've got scoliosis, degenerative arthritis.
Everything jumps off from yours.
Huh?
Everything jumps off.
Yep.
Nobody ever, I didn't know.
How have you guys been?
We're good. We're still struggling. It's a little hard to be in Ames actually because everywhere I've ever been in Ames, I've been with him. And so I think in some ways it's harder for me than Chuck to be there. But, you know, we have to go through it. I mean, it's just, there isn't any way around it. You just have to keep on going through it. Making a relationship with it.
I don't remember if I told you or not, but Unity Hospice offers bereavement counseling to anybody.
Oh, I
If
didn't
you
know.
want to just call and talk to a counselor. I'm not sure if we're having groups anymore.
We did go to a counselor at the hospital and liked her very much. She's got a lot of experience with Oneida, and so that's really perfect for us.
Should I be recording the whole,
Everyone's poem? Yes.
everything should be recorded?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You need to come through here?
There are 12 poems.
Well, that's what, yeah, because Stella's gonna have instructions.
I checked.
Sharon, are you getting closer to being reconciled to the hip surgery or?
To the hip surgery, not for a while. I don't care. As long as I can maneuver. And the back makes it look like it needs to be that much bigger. If I had pictures, I still have all the back.
Tricky. Really tricky, isn't it?
Very, these N95s.
Yeah.
Stella, it occurs to me that this is the same poem I read last year.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's our starting point. It's our bridge. It's fine. And
Nobody's gonna remember.
I mean, that's the terrible thing and the good thing. The poem is complex enough that they could hear it lots of times and get something.
No, no, we did go. Set up some chairs in the corner. I saw it. Yeah.
So, do we have a rule about masks, or is it up to it?
It's optional.
Optional.
See, Jerry.
No, I don't think she wants to read. I think you're set. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm surprised.
Thank you, Beth, for blessing us with your beautiful music, as always. A wonderful start to May 1st, start of hopefully more and more flowers. So I'm going to add these to our table up here to give us a little bit of hope for what is to come. Good morning. Before we start, just a couple of minor adjustments to the order of service. Unfortunately, I am not Estella Lauder, but she is here as moderator for this morning. I will be your service leader this morning. You are welcome here no matter who you are, where you come from, no matter your background. You are welcome here to join us as we proclaim our worth in our spiritual journeys. You are welcome to join us as we sing songs or hum that uplift our beings. You are welcome to join us in community as we learn, live, and love together. All are welcome as we worship that which gives us meaning and value. No matter what you call this building, this hour, this gathering of people, we worship as one body, illuminated by the light of our chalice. I ask that you take a moment to silence any cell phones or noise-making devices you may have so we can honor our time together in this special space. It is our custom to ask visitors or those who haven't been with us for a while to stand up and introduce themselves. And I extend a special welcome to any visitors or returning visitors. Anyone, and I forgot to ask somebody to use the microphone. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, my name's Karen Early. I came up from Green Bay and have just always been interested in what the community is. And I was going to a performance and birthday, hi Nancy, birthday lunch up here with a friend. And I thought I'd just come early and take this into my day and make it part of the spring celebration. So it's nice to be here.
Welcome. Anyone else? Oh, Elizabeth?
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisbeth Pickers, and we're back for a couple of weeks at least. Do I do it again? I'm delighted to be back, and that's all.
All of that.
Welcome back. Okay, at this time, if there are any announcements that pertain to the fellowship, please share these now. Please wait for Bob to bring a microphone to you and so that we can all hear what's going on, including our folks who are with us online.
Hi, the Climate Change Coalition a number of years ago started the Door County Big Plant. And just so you know, there's one in Bailey's Harbor that Terry and I and Jay and Nancy and some of our other neighbors are involved in. It's this Saturday, May 7th at the town hall outside under the pavilion from 9 to 12. There'll be 3 different kinds of trees that you can select from. So.
Thank you.
Good morning. I just wanted to make an announcement that on Thursday, May 12th, so a week from this Thursday, at the Sister Bay Fire Station, there will be yet another vaccine clinic, hopefully as successful as the last one where we had over 300 people. This clinic is you will be able to make an appointment online. There will be a poster here, flyer here this week. I'll get the information tomorrow. You can make an appointment online with Door County Public Health, or you can just come as a walk-in, and all are welcome. At the last clinic where we had over 300 people, we had 5 people getting their very first booster, and we had 1 person, approximately 30 years age, get his first COVID shot. And every single one is appreciated. So these are Pfizer shots, but everybody can get a Pfizer booster, but whether you had Moderna or not. And there will also be vaccines for children ages 5 and up.
Good morning. Just to let all of you know, as if there's not a lot already happening next Saturday, it is International Labyrinth Day, World Labyrinth Day. And so I will be facilitating a labyrinth walk at the clearing from 3 to 4 p.m. So all are welcome. And if you would like to just see me after the service and give me a name and email, I'll be happy to mail out all the full details about that.
Yeah, speaking of big plants, I don't know if anybody noticed or not, but Colin selected his, and it went in last Friday. It's 25 feet tall, weighed 9,000 pounds. It's a European beech. And we were out here, Buttons and I, watching him when it was planted, and it was pretty spectacular. I'm assured that the other trees, by the way, are not that big.
Or heavy. Thank you. For the gift of this day and for our community of spiritual nurture and compassion, we give thanks. We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith, May our sparks meet and merge in communion of heart and soul. Please stand in body or spirit and join in the unison affirmation followed by hearty humming of the doxology. We gather together to seek knowledge and wisdom,
to explore freely the vast reaches of mind and spirit, to celebrate within a caring community those truths, ancient and modern, which give meaning and direction to our lives.
You are marvelous hummers. At this time, you are invited to share any joys you may have so that we can celebrate with you, or if you have any concerns that burden you, feel free to share so that we may offer solace and comfort. Please identify yourself when you share and wait for the microphone to be brought to you. Please keep in mind that the service is being broadcast, so do not share anything about somebody unless you have their permission to do so.
For the last few months, you have shared the saga of my kids from Milwaukee moving up here, and my Alex, who got a job at Bjork Linden as their chef. They have purchased a home, and the closing is tomorrow. And it's in Ephraim, so as the crow flies, they're only about a half a mile away. Isn't that wonderful? So I'm with my 6-year-old and 9-year-old grandchildren daily, if possible. Thank you.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Okay.
Well, I have about 3 minutes to do 3 things. Share an update with you on our pledge campaign, celebrate our fellowship's 25th anniversary, and also to highlight a UU principle. We're going to do all 3. Don't fear, I will not do this using poetry. So today I'd like to highlight the UU principle, the 5th UU principle, which says that we have the right of conscience and use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. The use of the democratic process, it's a word that we hear a lot lately, isn't it? For 25 years, our fellowship members have elected a board of directors each year, and they entrust that group with a variety of responsibilities, one of which is financial management of the fellowship, to assure that we're responsible stewards in carrying out this work. Democracy suits us pretty well as UUs. Winston Churchill once said, democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others which have been tried. And it's been said, I think, that it's fair to say that when you get 10 Unitarians together, you'll get 15 opinions. And one more, Theodore Parker, a 19th century Unitarian, said, democracy means not that I am as good as you, but that you are as good as I am. So we push forward on this, and it served us well this anniversary year in our fellowship. Our committees have gotten a lot done in the fellowship as part of the work of the fellowship. And the anniversary initiatives for our community have been remarkable in your support. In the first 6 months of our anniversary year, you have donated $15,000 to local organizations that are this up to date have been in local youth work and in food insecurity. And now we're moving into our last 2 quarters where we hope to do the same thing for the Door County Mental Health Agency and the housing agency. In addition to all of this, we are getting ready to send off a check that will be close to $10,000 to the Ukrainian Relief, sponsored by Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. So democracy and your dedication to this community and to what it means to spread democracy and to spread love around the world really says something here. But that's not all. In this process, we're asking for a good chunk for a budget for this coming year. Our budget for the first time will go over $150,000 as a fellowship. But as of Friday, I can say that we're quite optimistic that we're going to come very close to our goal, our pledge goal. We're very encouraged by what we see coming in. I want to remind you that our deadline is the 4th of May, which is next Wednesday. So, but we do, as we fellowship, believe in democracy. We have a board that sets some things out, but your involvement is what really makes this place work. So if that pledge form is still sitting on your kitchen counter, I just ask that you pop it in the mail, and we'd be delighted to see it by next Wednesday. But we'll take it anytime it comes. So, thank you.
Let us share a moment of quiet to prepare for receiving the wonderful messages our talented poets have prepared for us today. Now that you've reflected, how about if you empty your pockets? We have the offering plate that we will be passing. Also, please keep in mind that it is possible to make donations online. There's a convenient donate button there on the website. So please give generously to the fellowship. Today, we are blessed to have poems from 12 poets read by the poets themselves for the most part, as well as a few that are read by others when the poet could not be with us today. So I will now turn it over to Estella to moderate our Poetry Sunday.
I want to use this time of the reading to just talk a little bit about what is to come. The description of this service asks a number of questions about the idea or the ideal of community. And it suggests that the poems may lead to some answers to our questions, but not the kind of answers that we expect from scientists or social scientists. Rather, they will be images, examples, metaphors, ways of knowing that lead to insight. And the poets will speak in different voices: conversation, direct address, lyric musings, storytelling, memories, imperatives, and more. There's a tremendous variety of speech acts going on here this morning. So I hope that you'll hear those differences from poem to poem. The poets recognize community in a lot of different ways, sometimes in a particular place or a particular action, in a phenomenon of nature, a shared purpose, an act of reaching out, an expression of love. They find it by seeing it happen in the real world, or by participating in it, or by listening, imagining, feeling part of something that allows people to see each other. Community can mean different things to different poets. It might be a fleeting response to a crisis. It might be the comfortable coexistence of different beings. Or it might be a state of harmony between beings, or even an art form. Depending on the degree of coherence that we expect of community. And this may explain some of our concern about community within the US at this time. I'm hoping that the poems will move you to seek your own memories and stories, images and metaphors for community, and that they will lead to new insights of your own. We will begin with Mark.
Anthem to 2020. We chanted, we marched, we gathered to sing the whole of our being together. We rejoiced in the coming awakening. We ate together, we drank together, we created together, we loved together. The music makers joined our hearts, the mystery makers joined our souls, all the while finding God in each other's eyes. Then you snuck into our lives. You sucked the sap of our gathering. You brought long arms of injustice to our spaces. Your viral invasions infected the souls of people yearning to be free. Turning them in upon themselves and each other, your sickness created our isolation. Generated the lonesome cries of elders dying, the young ones suffering loveless in sterile draped rooms. You overworked the good offices of those in covenant to heal the sick and right the wrong. You cast us each against the other with fears of poverty and death. My isolation surrounds me. I'm helpless to face overwhelming forces. I am numb to senseless suffering. I cannot breathe. Human connections are unstable networks zooming through my days. Still, I cannot smell your tears or touch your fears. I turn to the land to assuage my soul. I begin to welcome my lonesomeness. I am still present. I am still grateful. I still love. Finally, you reached your fever pitch after invading our bodies, after invading our temples. You begin to drown in the undertow of fallacious hypocrisy. Your virus takes on new forms, but we recognize each expression and call messengers of healing to resurrect our bodies, our minds, our souls. I will forever be lonesome, yet hopeful that your desire to desecrate our lives will succumb to our indelible need to hold another soul.
I am the reader for Ethel Davis, and the title of her poem is Zuni. There is a place on the high desert where the sky kneels down to talk to its people, and where the blue mountains pull them up to its heart, where each one has a place and no one is left behind. A place of little water where each cup is drunk with gratitude, and where children on the school bus stand and applaud when the ditches are running with fresh water, or when the mountain is white in the morning from the last night's surprise spring snow.
My poem is called Come Together. Flashback, the year 2003. I am on Route 66 in Flagstaff, Arizona, driving home at sunset. A low line of smoky clouds in the east brings thoughts of raging fires, for drought still holds us fiercely in its grip. The foothills surrounding town are brown with dying pines, and this year's attack of beetles has not even begun. Here in the mountains, the sky is that hard blue. Sunlight hammers down on the 700 Navajo and Hopi who have put aside ancient enmities to gather and support the family of a young Hopi woman missing in action in the first days of this war in Iraq. How much more anxiety can we handle? Trying to breathe, it seems there's not enough air these days, and I begin remembering the 50s when there were only 3 channels on TV, no global network grinding terror and destruction in our faces, no taunting us with powerlessness to stop it. Still, this too shall pass, ancient wisdom says, and new pines will thrust through the earth. The cloud people will return to the Hopi, bringing rain to fall on their fields again, and the 2 tribes will coexist once more. The death of PFC Lori Piestewa of Lower Moenkopi, whose grandfather served in World War II and whose father fought in Vietnam, will be confirmed.
Breeze and Bright. Over the rise and into view, there appeared two cranes whom I thought I knew. They were different, though, in ways unclear, but they both seemed quite comfortable in being here. In near proximity, a gaggle of geese, goslings and ganders, large and small, some on land, some in swim. There were ducks nearby, a paddling and a waddling, one or two in flight, all blissfully unaware of the others there, and or unperturbed by the bird community surrounding them. All at peace, all in peace, savoring sun and light, and breeze and bright.
So I have the great privilege to read the musings and metaphors of Tom Davis today, called Meditation on the Song. Last night at Bay Mills Community College, Wade Wiartala and Rachel Kay were talking. Their talking was a song. My life, their lives are songs. The Indian song is deep, a river flowing from thousands of years of voices. Outside the reservation, two people are talking tonight. They too are singing. The American song too is deep, a river flowing from around earth through time. Sometimes the reservation song is an American song. Sometimes voices from the reservation and surrounding communities rise in harmony. The beaver, dark brown, big, flat-tailed, living west of the Bay Mills campus, is a song. The black bear in its den as white snow piles high in woods, and the Lake Superior shore near the den, bordered now by ice covered with dark snow and blue jays winging into the college's bird feeders, are songs. The earth song, filled with flight of birds, swimming fish, movement of waters, breathing of soil, leaf-talking oak trees, and murmuring men and women, rises into gravities of space and time. Where the moon sings and rings of Saturn shine their song, and frozen seas of Io move cold beneath a planet of ice, Sol blazes a star's song. The solar system song rises into the Milky Way's light bands, which sing into distance of galaxies that wield great sun-rich songs, back to beginning and toward the end, as they dance to music of universe expanding in time and space. At the daycare center down the road, I saw a grave-faced Indian boy and a red-haired, brown-eyed girl swinging on a swing yesterday morning.
Activist Weather by David Clowers. Her son says the political process is broken and demonstrations don't work. But she and 6 other diehards are still marching in 20 degrees of blowing sleet down Walnut Street, carrying Stop Pipeline 5 signs, while a bomb cyclone dumps snow from Mississippi to Maine, and 2 fatal tornadoes happen in Iowa during the same week in March 2022. They call their demonstrations Marching Forth for Earth Day. And every week during March and April, they're protesting the construction of a new hydrocarbon-bearing pipeline that will also threaten fresh water sources on Native American reservation lands. And during the second week, they walk, firefighters must respond to at least 10 wildfires that scorch 52,000 acres of Texas Panhandle land. It's a mixed snow and rainy day again here in Green Bay, but they are still out marching while I, back at home, read about part of the Great Barrier Reef in Australia being bleached completely white, and about a glacier in Antarctica that's collapsing after being undermined by what an atmospheric scientist ironically describes as too much warm snow. But as her son said, demonstrations don't work.
I am again a reader, and this time for Jerry Freeberg, and the title of her poem is Spring Ferns. Undulating elegance of hardly hidden fronds, feeling their way outward, rustled by fragrant breeze. They know their lacy essence decorates the prom corsage, the soft forest floor, a funeral wreath. She remembers him in all these places, gathers one and gently transplants it near her window.
A birth in Siberia. Already the week before Easter, and we'd known from the start of our term in Kurgan that our host family's white Labrador retriever would give birth to puppies. Still, we lingered at the table over strong tea and chocolate, talking through Elena's translation before we all pitched in, gathering towels and scraps of cloth to make a nest for birthing in the biggest bedsit of our 3-room flat. Soon, Elena's mother, Tanya, emerged in shock with a stillborn pup that Dora had begun to eat. From then on, joined by Elena's friend Masha and grandmother Baba, we hovered, hoping that Dora would decide to accept the rest of her babies. Stroking her gently while one of 6 pups nursed, holding and washing them, murmuring sweet words in their ears in Russian and English, we slowly coaxed her into motherhood. Because they were thoroughbreds, this first litter would pay for tutoring to give Elena an edge to enter a fine university in Moscow one day. But in that moment, 5 women, ages 14 to 75, thought only of Dora's reluctance in the face of shut-eyed pink and white floppy bits of fur.
Down along the Tombigbee, on the bank, just above Demopolis, there's a makeshift honky-tonk sort of place with an old dock out front. And pulling in off the river for fog in the night, you and you and you bargemen in your light and dark skins, you backwater pilots, you pleasure boat people, and all drinking cold beer and eating crawfish heaped red under flickering light, and you and you and you telling your stories. I liked that fog and the way it let us see each other.
I am reading for Nancy. If we are not supposed to dance, why all this music? That was a short haiku by Gregory Orr. This poem is called Instructions for Audience. Listen closely, listen carefully, listen with intention, listen with abandon. Music in the trees, music in the water, music in the sky, in the mountains, valleys, plains, plateaus. Harmonious sounds of nature, dissonance too. Feel your heartbeat, feel your pulse, feel the rhythm of life. Join the dance, tap your feet, raise your hands, shake your head, scrunch your toes. From djembe drum, bamboo, flute, kora, oud, clarinet, piano, and the myriad of music-making instruments we humans have fashioned to echo nature's sounds. From the gates of horses, carriages over cobblestones, tempo of typewriters, jackhammers, machines of all devising, we celebrate the sounds of our ingenuity. Music is in our DNA, in our chromosomes, in our heritage. Be it sacred or secular, music cements community. People of all ages join together to sing, dance, listen, play. And today, let us all join the dance, stamp our feet, clap our hands, nod our heads, and wiggle our toes, as all sounds considered surround us with joy and good cheer. Listen closely, listen carefully, listen with intention, listen with abandon. There is music enough for all of us.
Springtime of Imagination by Tom Torp. It was the springtime of our imagination, the months we met without meeting, holy days we congregated without congregations, the hours we sang together though we were far apart. We swam imaginary beaches, walked the virtual streets of empty cities, held untouched but the smiling images of loved ones, separate but close to our hearts. This is the spring we read the books we never got around to, watched the movies we always meant to watch, played the games and told the stories we had left on shelf for years. We pretended to tour closed museums, to gather around virtual tables, to go to ball games won and lost long ago. We imagined graduations and grand weddings that didn't happen. We attended canceled concerts, live streamed from home studios. We held in our hopes and prayers nurses and doctors we never met, thanked unknown field workers, shippers, and stockers, tried to ease in small ways the hardships of strangers. In our imagination, we sat by the hospital beds of the ill, whom we loved and tossed a last handful of dirt at funerals never held, and mourned alone our shared loss. And so, in this springtime of our imagination, our lives somehow grew closer as we learned a little better what compassion means.
Hello, my poem today is called A Loving Community, and it opens with an epigraph of two quotes from two very famous personages. The first is, "It's not easy. It's not that easy being green," Kermit the Frog. And the second, "The buck stops here," Harry S. Truman. A loving community is an audacious act of imagination, an improvisational wisdom art of turning no to yes, down to up, in to out, and hate to love. But our road to loving community cannot be paved with good intentions alone, cannot be conjured with canards, nor widened with wizardry. Who is really ready to do the work of shedding old habits, ideas, and ego? Who amongst us is really ready to come down from the seductive summit of superiority, to look within, to get our own house in order, to imagine a world in which we are at once the center and not the center, to improvise a dance of selfless love? It's not that easy being green, or so-called black, or brown, or white. But the buck most definitely stops here.
Thank you to all of those who contributed today. Wonderful poems. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, to our faith, and to our faith continues. May it be so. We have started up with gathering for a few minutes after the service, so I hope you'll join us for a little bit of coffee and conversation in the gathering room across the foyer. And then we will have a post-service discussion with the poets, hopefully, and be joined by our online friends about 15 minutes from now. Thank you.
Do you want to get these out?
Thank you. Good.
Good job.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Good job.
Okay, Mark?
Come back and join us for our talk.
This is going to be